One brother's first chance at freedom foiled. Erik Menendez denied parole after a 10-hour-long hearing. Today, his brother Lyle will face the same parole board. The pair have been serving life in prison for the 1989 murders of their parents.
We wanted to bring back legal analyst Lyle Aug. So, Royal, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Super busy and long day yesterday. But first question, were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised that the answer was no, but the commissioners were just coming after Erik Menendez very hard. And essentially, they revisited the crime, which the DAs wanted to do. And Mark Garagos has said, no, that's irrelevant. It's all about risk and remorse. But risk was that, they really went through the details of Erik's prison violations. I mean, illegal supplies to make wine and carving out a book for contraband, heroin use. And so they said, okay, you committed the terrible crime, and now you haven't done so well in prison. Add it up. The shrinks say you're a moderate risk at violence. And the answer is no.
So what happens next for him?
Well, he's got 3 years to sit and wait. And that's the silver lining here. The board could have said, you're going to come back in 5, 10, or 15 years. Instead, they chose the minimum. And what can happen in those 3 years is, first, he can keep his nose clean. No more violations, no more inappropriate, intimate conduct in the chapel, at the prison. And secondly, he can convince a psychologist that he really gets it. He understands the input of the commissions, of the board, and he's a changed man. So he's got that opportunity.
Were you surprised that they were so specific about the infractions while in prison? I mean, I remember we heard that they had, a cell phone. It was kind of like, oh, they had a cell phone, not a big deal. But these infractions were pretty serious, and he kind of went down each one very, very specifically.
Over several years, every few years, he's had these problems. And you're right, we haven't really focused on that. Instead, I think, the Netflix specials, 110 million views for the documentary and the movie. That's what everybody was thinking. The big Mo is in favor of him. Now, as we shift our attention to Lyle, he had a couple of violations. They're pretty minor compared to his little brother. And so that's helpful for him. The other thing that's helpful for him is that we understand the commissioners that will decide Lyle's fate today are different human beings. It's not the same people who were on that board.
However, though, the decision for Erik kind of paints a bleaker picture for Lyle, right?
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to go to Vegas and bet on Lyle's chances here. The fact is he was the older brother. Allegedly, he was the mastermind of the plan. This kind of boils down to the fact that the real hope now is Governor Gavin Newsom granting clemency, and that is not likely to happen. Dig back into political history. 1988, Dukakis is against Bush for president. Dukakis lost partly because he supported a furlough program for murderers, life without possibility of parole in Massachusetts. The furlough program was, life without possibility of parole, but you can go home for a weekend. Well, Willie Horton was let out, and he assaulted and raped somebody, and he paid the price politically. Dukakis did. Is Governor Gavin Newsom going to let either of these brothers out when, if they do commit a violent act after he lets them out, there goes his presidential chances?
Well, 10 hours yesterday. It could be another long day today.
Probably so. I would think that it might be about the same.
All right.
Ro, we'll be talking with you throughout the day. Thank you for walking us through what happened yesterday and what's on tap for today.